Okay, so I'm going over pretty much the installation of the B16 intake manifold on a B20 or B18 non-vtec. So here's the LS manifold, as you can see, and here's the B16 shorter runners. That's pretty much it. The biggest things to consider are there is a spot on the back of the head here. Let's see. Right where this guy is. See how there's no bolt here? Basically there's like a little spot back there that sticks out from the head and it has to get shaven down. So if you don't do that, it won't meet up flat, but obviously you shave it down, make it flat so you don't get any vacuum leaks. And yeah, so the head pretty much has to be off to do that. I suppose you could do it, but it would just be a pain in the ass. But yeah, I would suggest removing the head, so that's just considering to do this project you would want the head removed and the intake manifold removed. So that is kind of a big deal. The other big deal is there's a lot of grinding involved. Let me show you over here. So down here you can see, maybe you can't see, I don't know. There is this line is hooked up to this piece, which I had to install myself. I had to tap it into the head, so the head had to be threaded for this. Another reason to take it off. And you can see all this material. Well, I guess you can't. There would be material here, and it's all shaven down. I'll show you on the other intake manifold. Basically, going from this dot down to this dot, back would have to be removed. So pretty much all that. Be about that much that has to be removed. And yeah, it was a pain to do. You're gonna need a good grinder to take all that off. The other thing is, see how there's these two holes here and this one here, and these are threaded. Well, none of this is on the B16 manifold. This is your intake air temp sensor. So you're gonna have to drill all these holes out and tap these two, and then make this little indent as well with like a drill bit. So I did all that and it worked easy, it wasn't too bad. But what ended up happening is that on the B16 one, there's like a little lip all around the edge. There's a little lip, and so when I put the sensor on, it wasn't flat and I was getting a vacuum leak. It was easy to tell. I hooked up a smoke tester. I was able to find it fairly easy. Now this is where the purge valve is. Once again, there's not going to be a hole here. It's just going to be flat. You're going to have to drill and tap that. Besides that, these two bolts don't line up right on the other manifold. And I'll show you all three of those things. So there's the bolts. That one doesn't line up, as you can see. I can just drill it out, bore that little piece out, and then it should work fine. I just haven't. I guess I'm lazy. There's the purge valve. That was pretty easy to do. And there's an intake air temperature sensor right here. So that was pretty easy to do as well. Not too hard, but you are going to need like a tap and die set. You are going to need a lot of grinding. And like I said, the head should be off and the intake manifold should be off. The other thing I had to do was just plug up some of these things just to avoid vacuum leaks. But overall, pretty cool. Now it's why would you do this? So the LS intake manifold gives you good mid-range power. So when you're just cruising and you step on the gas, this is probably going to give you more power. But the longer you stay into it, your power falls off. Where with this intake manifold, this is like the opposite. The longer you stay in it, the faster it gets. So up top, like past 5,000 RPM, you actually have power. And it's pretty decent. How fast is it? Well, I was able to be about as fast as my friend's G35. He has a 4-door sedan, like a 03, I believe. So just like it's automatic as well. So it's probably the slowest version of the G35, but doing like a 30 roll, I was able to pull on him off the line. He pulled back with his torque, and then the top end with the intake manifold would kick in, and I'd pull that on him at the end. So pretty cool. Definitely made more power, but like I said, it was all up top, and you lost a little bit of mid-range that you had with this guy. But would I recommend it? Yeah, it's pretty cool, but at the same time, I'd probably just go with like a blocks intake manifold or Skunk 2, just because it's a lot easier, a lot less of a headache. But if you do something like this, if you do try to use one of these intake manifolds, you're gonna need a smoke tester, because yeah, when you're modifying something this much on, it's really not supposed to go on this car, it's pretty easy to come across a vacuum leak. And with the smoke tester, it's going to be very easy to determine where that vacuum leak is. So smoke tester is a must if you want to have a nice idle. And this thing idles perfectly fine.